not very used to standing in one spot when I talk, and normally I'm jumping about the stage, so hopefully I can stay put and you'll still be able to hear me. Thank you for having me, Rosemary. You're a legend. I'm sure everyone agrees after today. Unfortunately, I've had mad problems with my computer lately, and I don't have a presentation that I would normally show you, but hopefully I can paint a great picture with my words. So 18 years ago, 18 years ago, I was 3 years old. 3 years ago, I saw a problem in society, and I kind of decided to do something about it. I think I can often be bigged up for being this really nice guy. At the end of the day, I came up with an idea that was an excuse not to go to university that my parents agreed with, so I kind of just went with that and accidentally stumbled into this career, some would put it. I would not call it a career. So what was the problem? For me, the problem was that peace, spirituality, something as simple as being kind wasn't relevant to my generation, and it was somewhat distant. I felt that it was really only ever found in church or in yoga class or in political addresses, and whereas a lot of the stuff that was being said was true, it wasn't very attractive. And students being students, we need it really, really simple. I say we, I'm not a student, but I'm the age of one. We need it simple, and we need it to be attractive if you want it to get through to us. So for me, I felt that there was a lot of fulfillment there that my generation weren't getting, you know. A selfless act, it may seem, for them, I think it seems very out there, and, you know, why would I ever go out and do something for anybody else when it doesn't benefit me? For me, I wanted to make that attractive because I found personally how much of an effect it had on my life, and I really wanted to make that relevant for them. So I came up with this crazy idea where I would basically start this clothing company called ARC. ARC stands for Acts of Random Kindness, and the idea was that every time you wore the clothing, you were supposed to do an act of random kindness for somebody else. Okay, so that was the stupid little idea, and I kind of just spoke to a few friends about it and had this, you know, idea, dream, let's go nuts. And then on the other hand, I had an offer to do accountancy at Queen's, so it was quite obvious which one I took. I was just like, nah, you know, we'll leave that for a while. Let's go explore. So on the day I finished my A-levels, so I was 18, booked flights to go to China and source a factory there, and started off in this mad adventure to start a company. Won't talk too much about the ins and outs of that because it's not really important, relevant. A lot of it was just ridiculous mistakes that I made. But in this whole kind of dream that I was just following, I kind of just came back from China after a month of sourcing a factory to find something that was kind of just growing organically that I really hadn't put very much into at all. So I literally went to China, got a bunch of t-shirts that I designed myself with absolutely no experience whatsoever, which maybe tells in some of the fittings of some of them, but thankfully we've sold out of them now, so you don't need to worry about them. We've since got professionals doing that part, but kind of just, you know, launched this initial line. There were just a bunch of polo shirts, and it really was just an idea. You know, you can't describe me as a successful entrepreneur because I have done very little. The idea has carried itself, and I think when there's a demand for something and the supply is met, then that's just what happens. It's basic economics. So anyway, I came back from China, and website was up. Longest website in the world. It was arcchangeyourworld.com, which was a nightmare telling anyone your email address over the phone or anything like that. But anyway, launched with this website, and within like a few weeks, we were starting to pick up a bunch of sales, and then like a few months passed, and I launched it a week before Christmas because obviously I had no experience whatsoever, so shipping came in from China. I was like, great, it'll be just in time, and then realized there was this small issue of tax, which I hadn't really heard of before. Apparently you have to pay tax, import duties, all that kind of stuff. I didn't know anything about that, so that held up all the stock for about 6 weeks, which made us miss the Christmas rush, which was a bit wick and I was a bit bummed out about, but just thought, there's something happening here even without the clothes. We had a Facebook page, had a website. People started relating to it, saying, this is a cool idea, can't wait to see the clothes. So they went up online, and within 3 months, there were sales in over 15 countries. Literally did no marketing, did no emailing, did absolutely nothing, just kind of sat there just going, oh my goodness, so what am I supposed to do? So in my parents' spare room, just had loads of boxes, loads of packaging bags, sellotape, everything all over the place. It was an absolute mess. And I used to, rugby bag about this kind of size, not full of rugby stuff, but now full of arc tops. And I literally used to just sling this over the shoulder and carry it down to the post office. People are queuing up with like 3 letters, and I've got this big sack of stuff, just sending them out. And normally, like the post office girls were saying, normally when people are doing that, it's all going one place. But for me, had to do each one individually. It's like, this one going India, Brazil, Scotland, England. So it was an absolute nightmare. And every time they saw me, they just they do not like me because I just made their life hell. But this movement anyway just kind of started to grow out of absolutely nothing. And there was the Facebook page was going on, which was really interesting because people were kind of getting their T-shirts, and I very much kind of thought, are they really going to do anything about this? Are they going to wear the T-shirt and go and do an act of random kindness, or are they just kind of going to jump on board the boat and just be cool, even though they weren't that cool tops? And I was pleasantly surprised, I have to say. I think the movement grew so much because it required an action on their part, and I don't know, it's kind of a cheeky product to design because it itself is my promotion. I don't really need to do much about it because people just wear it, do it, what are you doing? T-shirt, go buy one. And then it just kind of keeps going. So 3 months had passed. It was spreading pretty quickly. Got a call from the Irish Times, and they were like, can we talk to you? And I was like, yeah, sure. Didn't know what the Irish Times was, naively. And your man came up, and I was just talking to a friend afterwards, and they were saying, who was the interview with? I was like, just like some Irish paper or something. Like, it wasn't the Belfast Telegraph, that was all I knew. So told them, like the Irish Times or something. He was like, Irish Times? That's pretty big, I think. So we looked it up, and I was like, flip, this is a pretty big newspaper. So I kind of started getting excited about what was going to happen there, and it was in the Saturday edition, like in the middle of, the wee middle magazine thing, which apparently is the most read part of the week. So I got like a 2-page spread in there, and I think people pay for those kind of things, but ARC didn't. It just kind of happened, and from that it just exploded and has since just become this global movement of, we've had, last time I counted, it was sales in over 31 countries. I think I say over because I'm not quite sure, but it's somewhere around 30. Basically just this movement that's just absolutely taken off by itself. So for me, peace and my contribution towards it was making it relevant to a generation that hadn't quite heard the message before. I think very much here we could very much agree that we're almost preaching to the converted. We're here at a peace conference. We obviously agree with peace somehow. There's not many people in here who are protesting against it, So for me, I kind of said, those aren't the people I need to speak to. It's not people in churches or meditation classes or anything like that. For me, I need to start at the grassroots and start putting something out there. So just to encourage you, maybe leave you with a challenge, I'll just tell you one of my favorite stories from the ARC page. If you want to check it out, if you're on Facebook, it's facebook.com/ARCHQ. The website's archq.co.uk, but my favorite story. So this guy in England, he was a big fan of ours, wearing his ARC top to work, or under his work gear or something. And he said, okay, gotta go do an ARC. So he was driving along, about to get his lunch, and he went into McDonald's and said, okay, we'll go for a wee drive-through, pay for the person behind me. So he went up paid for the person behind him. And of course, his curiosity took him, and he had to check out what was going to happen. You know, he wasn't just going to drive off. So went and parked around the car park and just kind of like hid behind the steering wheel, looking to see what this person was going to do. Person got the news and were kind of like, what's going on? Tried to see who it was that had driven off, but didn't see him. And then kind of looked behind them, and they're like, all right, well, I'll pay for them. So the movement, or like the action, was kind of passed on, and he's like, okay, like that's cool. And like then he kind of watched and saw that person, and they were like, whoa, whoa, cool, like that's kind of cool. And obviously the clerk played a big part in it. He was probably like, do you want to pay for the person behind you? But it ended up happening again, so they paid for the person behind them, and he was just like, you know, this guy's Mikey, he was just like, what's going on, like, this is class. And they were obviously all laughing, and he started seeing the staff all like looking in to see what was happening, and it was amazing. And then this next girl comes along, and like a wee Renault Clio. He said she looked like a student, and she was all, oh yeah, oh great. And she looks behind her, there's this big people carrier full of 7 people in the family. So needless to say, she enjoyed her free lunch and drove off. But you know, like I think, I don't know, it's very easy to think or to talk about big, amazing statistics, and I'd love to be someone like Dara who can rhyme off all these mad statistics and studies, and I'm not an academic. But I do know that peace starts at home. I can't remember who the quote was, but maybe it was just Rosemary who told me it. But like, peace does begin with you, and I think like it's so easy to talk about the big global things that need to happen, but ultimately inspiring someone through selflessness is my way of passing it on. And I've definitely seen like loads of people throughout the world doing it as well. You know, a simple act of kindness can really inspire peace no matter where you go, no matter where you are in the world. It's a global currency. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. Enjoy your next McDonald's trip.